Okay, so let's just take a look real quick at just this little episode right here. Okay, and let's just see what we've got in it. Let's hear just these 3 bars, maybe the couple beats of the 4th bar. Okay, and then the subject is back. So, do we hear a sequence here? I sure do. Remember, a sequence is just a pattern that moves by some kind of regular interval. So, here's what I hear. If you just latch on to the right hand stuff here, I hear this, right? Those 4 notes. Then we get it again up a 4th. And then we get it again up a 4th, or down a 5th, and then again up a 4th. Right? So we have an ascending 4th here. The reason I'm saying ascending 4th is just look at the first note. It doesn't, the chords, you could look at this by chords, but if you just look at the notes of it, the first note is A, and then the first note is D, so we're up a 4th. Then the first note is G from D, so we're up a 4th. And then the first note is C, so we're up a 4th again. So this little melodic pattern is going up a 4th every time. Cool, so we have a ascending 4th pattern here, or descending 5th pattern, we could call it if we wanted to. Both are fine. And that's enough. We could analyze the chords and say, well, one chord very important is this one. What key are we actually in when this starts? We should figure that out. So we have D, D, F. So probably a big old D minor, right? We see these C naturals here, E naturals. That tells us, yeah, we're probably firmly in D minor. And this chord does feel like tonic. If we go back just a little bit, up to here maybe, when we get to here, you'll see that feels like tonic. Yeah, so I think we're in D minor here pretty comfortably. So we're a 5 away. We started in G minor, we moved up to D, that's okay. Okay, and let's just maybe just look at where we're moving through with the chords. D, let's look at where we land here. G, B flat, so probably a G minor here. So have we moved up by a 4th in the same way the sequence has? D up to G, yeah, we moved up a 4th. So G minor up to C, E flat, C minor, probably. We were G, now we're up to C, so we moved up a 4th again. We look here, F, A, E flat. So we've got a 7th creeping in there, but if we look at the F and the A, we have an F, A natural? Yeah, A natural. So we have an F major here. Where were we here? C? Yeah, so we're up a 4th again. Got a 7th in there. I suppose we had a 7th before also. That's okay. So we're moving up by 4ths. This is great. Now what happens here? Here our sequence breaks, right? Our sequence stops. We don't have this anymore, and we just have something different. So what's happening here? One quick little bar of free counterpoint. That's totally okay. That's totally allowed. What he's doing here is really just kind of establishing the new key, which in this case happens to be the old key. So let's figure out where we are. We're in F, or we're in a sequence, so we're not really anywhere, right? We're in transition mode. That's what a sequence does, is it moves us. So we land on F here. Let's see what happens here. We get to B flat, A, D. What do we want to call that? We could call it a B flat, D. Do we have an F anywhere? Not really. We have some F sharps later. That's not what I wanted. So maybe B flat isn't the root. Maybe D is. No. I think B flat's the root here. I mean, we have this huge octave right here. So it's probably a B flat chord. Does that finish out our sequence even? So we're on F. Yeah, if we went up a fourth from F, we end on B flat. So that does finish out our sequence. So we're on some kind of B flat here. Let's look at every bar from here on out. Here we have an E flat, E, G. We could consider that D. There's that G again. So strong stuff pointing us to G. Let's see. Can we call E flat the root? E, G. Yeah, so that would be E flat major. Landing on C here. No real chord here, but this could be some kind of a C7 maybe. Then D, F sharp, A. There we go. That's what we were looking for. Because this D, F sharp, C is what I should have said. D, F sharp, C. There's an A over there. That gets us to a D dominant 7 chord, which is going to lead us back to G minor. And then we get our subject again. So this sequence actually led us back to G minor. Normally we expected a sequence to move us a fifth away, but it doesn't always have to. And this fugue is a little bit weird. So it moved us to a fourth away, right? We started on D minor and we went up a fourth throughout this whole sequence. The sequence was moving up a fourth all the way through it, and eventually it dropped us off up a fourth from it or down a fifth, which put us back into G minor where we started. And that's okay. That's okay. It's not the most typical thing we would expect, but it's not that weird. It's totally okay. All right, so that's what happens in our little episode. We have a sequence. We have a tiny bit of free counterpoint to rip us through a couple chords real quick and get us back to G minor. Let's hear it one more time. Great. Okay. Let's move on and talk about this graph thing and sort of walk through how we analyze this, the kind of big picture elements of a fugue.